It definitely does. I think the biggest thing you see really quickly is just there's no guarantee they make the playoffs, and that's crazy to think about. Jacksonville winning today was concerning because now it was okay if Kansas City won this game today. Not only does Denver come back a game, but the Chargers lost to Jacksonville. So then you're like, okay, they picked up a game on both teams, and they also still end up playing the Chargers. So you're like, okay, that's not that concerning fully, and with Denver, the whole situation. But now that they lost, they're chasing Jacksonville. The division is most likely gone, and if they get that, then things change dramatically. But Jacksonville beat them head-to-head, so now they're in this position to where you're a full 2 games behind them. So you don't have much room for error, and it's rare for the Chiefs not to have much room for error in November. I mean, this next game against Indy becomes huge, to say the least.
2 games back of 7, as you said, a 9-year division streak squarely in jeopardy, and the Indianapolis Colts straight ahead. That vaunted rushing attack is what they look at next in Kansas City. The stat, and so many of them, point to a different Kansas City team this year, but 0-5 in one-score games this season, Tony. What does that tell you about this group that had won 17 consecutive prior to?
I think they've been incredible in the past because it's been a complete team effort. Of course, we know Mahomes is incredible. He does as good a job as anybody is getting his team out of trouble and figuring out ways to just win the game. And, you know, he's just always been that guy. But right now, he may not have all the things working perfectly around him. And this is what happens to championship teams. You just can't be that good for 10, 12 years. I mean, it's crazy. The Patriots had to restart. They went through the same phase and then re-changed the team with a bunch of new guys. Gronk wasn't there for the beginning era. Then that whole era comes on. And so I'm not saying we're seeing a changing of the guards. I'm just saying it's a lot tougher right now. They've played so many more games than other teams. They've been in so many pressure-packed situations. I think they brought it tonight. It was just Denver's really good at home, and they're a really good football team. And expect to see Kansas City at their best the next few weeks, though.
Yeah, plenty still to sort, but this one had a playoff feel a mile high. Nobody does it like Tony, Jim, and Tracy. Thank you, Tony.
100%. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Our team with the NFL on CBS bringing you another classic, this one with ripple effects across that division and in the conference. 5-5 with November waning. Kansas City now taking on teams like Jacksonville and others in that AFC wildcard picture. The road ahead for KC going to require their very best.
Where you want to see the quarterback throw the football over the yard. We live in an NFL that has really continued to build itself upon the 25 to 30-year-old young quarterback face of the NFL. What you get with the Denver Broncos is old school football. You get a team that is led by their defense. Yes, they have Sean Payton, who made his name on the offensive side of the football, no doubt. And he had Drew Brees for forever, and so we all want Bo Nix to be Drew Brees. Drew Brees, he is not. But when you need him to be Drew Brees in the fourth quarter to get you down into field goal range, more times than not this season, we have seen him do it. This Denver Broncos team is all about the defense. It is all about Vance Joseph, former head coach of the Broncos, who was able to swallow his pride, come back to Denver as the defensive coordinator, and be just one of the best in the world at his job, as we have known him to be. You know, all these openings happen and people talk about who should be the head coach somewhere. Why don't you want the guy who for consecutive years has led the Denver Broncos to a top 3 defense, who this year, in games that they have no business being in because the offense has been terrible for 3.5 quarters, the Denver Broncos are in those games holding guys like Jalen Hurts and like Patrick Mahomes to pedestrian days. Credit all to the Denver Broncos, but certainly credit to this defense.
The defense is the reason why this team is who they are. Because Bo Nix is not playing like rookie year Bo Nix so far. The entire offense in terms of the splash plays, they're not delivering like they did in 2024, but they're not missing the beat because of their defense. And oh, by the way, their defense has been dominant without Pat Surtain Jr.
Defensive player of the year
from a year ago. So when you talk about the depth they have, it's been felt. When you talk about the playmaking ability they have on the defensive side, it's been felt, and they've been doing that without their best defensive player also. So Vance Joseph has done a phenomenal job, And these are the games that we need to get accustomed to seeing with the Denver Broncos, winning in an ugly fashion. And they're okay in doing so. The only concern I have with Denver, guys, today they won the ball game, the running game, without J.K. Dobbins.
That's a good point.
They got to find a way to get R.J. Harvey going or get someone going that can kind of not necessarily fill the shoes.
59 yards as a team.
As a team.
It helps when you have a team that ran for 62 on the other side of the matchup, but that's not going to be the case coming down the stretch.
Yeah, and J.K. has really, he was a bright spot for them, providing a sense of balance, even when the passing game wasn't there. So life without J.K. is going to be something they have to find a way to finagle to get the most out of. But today, their defense did what they're supposed to do, and they did that against Pat Mahomes. You know what I mean? So they can win a championship with this defense.
I know a good deal of the advanced metrics do point towards a quarterback who's not operating at an elite level by any means. Not a Drew Brees level, as you alluded to, but 295, the throw he makes at the end of the game, timely football from Bo Nix once again. I want to talk about the nature of these wins, Pat, because it's 5 comeback wins, and they've all come in the last 7 games. That doesn't scream sustainability. How do you like the way they're going about business? You take a win over the Chiefs and the Eagles any way you can get it, but Giants and Jets, maybe that gives you a moment of pause?
No, not really, because at the end of the day, a win is a win. And he was able to still win in that fashion against quality teams, like the Philadelphia Eagles. You know, just had a great comeback against, they was down 19 in the fourth quarter. The Giants came back against the Giants in the fourth quarter. So they have, I believe it is sustainable because they have played good teams and did it against those good teams. Yes, they put themselves in a hole against, you know, teams where they should not have been in a hole, but they still found ways to get out of them. I'm going to go back to Bo Nix real quick because, yeah, we're talking about, you know, he has not been at a top level, but we still got to realize he's a second-year quarterback. A lot of second-year quarterbacks don't have that same success that they had in year 1, but this is what I do love about Bo Nix. He makes the plays when he needs them. Like in the fourth quarter of this game, the second and 11, big-time throw down the field. The comeback against the Philadelphia Eagles, the drive that he was able to put together against the Giants a couple weeks ago. So I believe it is sustainable because what their defense is able to do, as far as sacking the quarterback, taking the ball away, create short fields, and they can continue to win this way. And I got one more thing to say about the Chiefs. I'm concerned about the Chiefs because they still are not able to run the football. Yes, we know Patrick Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes, but he's also getting older. He can't be back there. Every time he dropped back, he's running for his life, trying to find a receiver. So the Kansas City Chiefs are going to have to find a sustainable running game if they want to get themselves back in the playoff.
And I think something to look at there, Mahomes' greatest success this season has come outside of the pocket rather than standing there and doing his thing. As for Nix, his past success rate, 30th in the NFL coming into this game, the last quarterback to start a Super Bowl even with a success rate that low.
Trent Dilfer?
Peyton Manning in 2015. He had a fused. Couldn't throw the forward pass. That's not to throw shade at Bo Nix, but the Broncos once again.
Brock Rottweiler in to throw the ball from midfield.
It was a different time then. It's some time to be a Broncos fan right now. They're going to say,
hey,
team
win a Super Bowl?
Look at our guy
with its defense,
and look what he is capable to do. Because on this day, he knocks off a Chiefs team that falls back to even 500, Mac, at 5-5. We were just talking about it with Tony Romo. You're thinking wild card squarely now, and you're starting to assess different calibers of teams. How do you feel about their chances of making the dance?
Mean, if you're a Chiefs fan, before this game kicked off, you felt really, really good because of what happened in Jacksonville, with Jacksonville beating the Chargers. The window was open for you. Not to mention coming off a bye, Andy Reid has been one of the more prolific coaches in the history of the game in terms of winning fresh off a bye week, and then this happened. To Pat's point, they have no identity when it comes to running the football. I'm a bit surprised, and I'm still confused why they weren't buyers at the trade deadline to improve the backfield in terms of talent. They need to have a difference maker in the backfield. Kareem Hunt, he's a guy who can lean on defenders, but they don't have that guy who can. I understand Isaiah Pacheco, but in terms of just that difference maker, they don't have, and those are things that surface in a game like today. You talked about a significant stat, Joe. In one possession ball game.
0-5 this
season. They're 0-5. One of the main reasons why they're not winning those said matchups, they don't have a closer. They can't close ball games. You know how you close ball games? Running the football. Running the football. So for them, they're in an unfamiliar spot when you look at the playoff picture because they're on the outside looking in. And there are other teams that are playing more complete football than the Chiefs, that currently they're in the tournament if the tournament was to start today.
And on top of that, I know we say the Chiefs can handle pressure.